What do we have here? Well, for starters, we have a different shop setup. Guys, this is a temporary shop setup that you're gonna see me filming in for the next couple of videos. Not very many, because soon I'll be back at the shop, but for right now, this is a temporary setup. This is really going to be the physically biggest project that I've accomplished. Without any more talking though, I wanna reveal it to you guys real quick. And there we have it. This is a huge Tonka fire truck. Before I go any further, I want to make sure to shout out two YouTubers who have already participated in my motor challenge. And those two people are Beyond the Scale and Traxxas and Losi RC. I'm gonna put a link to your guys' channel in the description. Be sure to go check them out because they did a great job on the challenge. And if you want to participate in the challenge, I'll also put a link for the challenge video in the description as well. Now, just to give you guys a quick perspective of how big this truck actually is, I'm going to pull out a tape measure and measure it for you right now. The total length of this truck is about 33 inches. The height with the ladder is about 13 inches, but the ladder extends to about 29 inches. And the width of it is 7 inches wide. So this truck is massive. It is probably about 2.5, maybe 3 times larger than the previous fire truck. Now, I have gotten a couple of products in advance just to kind of get the ball rolling, and I want to be able to get this build series started because I know it's going to take a while. Now, my plan with this video is give you an overview of what I plan to do with this project. And this is going to be different because I want to give you guys the opportunity to maybe contribute some advice or any ideas that you have for this truck. My plan is to do it similar to the previous fire truck, which is going to require a water source. It will not have a water tank. This truck will have multiple power supplies, meaning that there'll be several sets of batteries powering this truck because there's so much going on. Now, there is a few things I want to touch on with this truck that are unfortunately disadvantages compared to the previous fire truck. The first one is that there's no steering wheels. This truck has only solid axles. The other disadvantage is it does have a rotating ladder, but it is not already powered. The raising and lowering of the ladder is already powered, but I need to put a gearbox on the rotating part so that way we can actually have it rotate. Now, my plan with this truck is that I'm going to start with tackling the steering and the rotating ladder because, as I said, those two things are not already on this truck, and I think those are going to be the hardest things to do. So I want to get those harder things out of the way first. You can also see there's a couple of aesthetic things that will need to be fixed, like this bucket will need to be suspended back up. That shouldn't be very hard at all. There are outriggers on both sides. However, I'm not planning to motorize those because I don't think I can figure out a way to do that with the room that's inside. And as you guys can see, inside of this truck is really a whole lot of nothing, which is actually really good because with all this space, that gives a fantastic platform to build on top of. As you can see, this is basically just a giant flat chassis, and that's really great. There are these wheel wells. These wheel wells may need to come out eventually because especially with the steering wheels, I don't think that's going to work very well. As for the ladder, I plan to use this gearbox right here, which is a Tamiya planetary gearbox set. So I'm hoping that this guy's going to work. I think that the lowest RPM that you can get to on this is 24 RPM. This is actually supposed to be for a Tamiya King Hauler, which is basically just a semi truck. But I found this and it fits perfectly for this fire truck. The width is absolutely perfect, and I was really fortunate about that. As for the drivetrain in this truck, this may surprise you what I'm about to say, but my plan is actually to drop a Traxxas Stampede transmission right here in the center of the truck. Now, this part is kind of where I'm going to look for your guys' advice. Should I power the very rear axle or the forwardmost axle? I'm not really sure. Both of them can have their pros and cons. Really, I tested with a transmission housing I had back at the shop, and that one actually fit perfectly right here on this front one. So it may be better to do this, especially if the gearbox on the ladder is actually going to be in the way of a transmission right here. How it's going to work is the transmission housing will be right here, and then we'll have the half shafts going straight down to the wheels. You guys will of course see when it happens. As far as the power supply goes, I'm planning to run a 7-cell nickel metal hydride battery, which is going to power the whole truck with the main operations such as the drivetrain, the steering. For the water pump, which I am going to be getting a much more powerful water pump, that water pump will be powered on its own by a 11.1 volt 3S LiPo. And then the third power source will be this battery box right here, which is stock on this truck, and that will be powering the motors to the ladder functions. The ESC that I'm planning to use on this truck is going to be the Hobbywing 1080. That's still my plan, and that is the same one I used for the other fire truck. And the receiver and remote I'm going to be getting is going to be the RadioLink 6-channel transmitter, which is the same one I used for the other fire truck. I love that transmitter. It worked really great last time. All in all, with this truck, with the size that it has, it's going to be very easy to fit things into it. Now, once again, the first part to this build series is going to be trying to get this ladder to rotate with the motorized gearbox, and then also setting up the steering. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this build series. It's definitely one of a kind. Be sure to share this video, give it a like, and subscribe if you're new. And I'm gonna get this first part to this truck rolling very soon. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.